guys, it's Janet with remarkablycreated.com. In today's One Take Wonder video, I have another idea for you, or another technique for you, using our Springtime Foils Designer Series paper. The Springtime Foils has 4 different prints. We have the beautiful silver leaves with the gold. We have the beautiful copper flowers. We have our silver stripes. And we have our really fun copper dots. So, let's take a look at 4 projects first, and then we'll see how we created them. So we have our sweet little magical mermaid, and it also is featuring the Celebrate Youth inlets that are available during celebration. And here you can see that the paper has been colored, and you're going to notice a little bit of texture on it. We'll show you that. This is the beautiful hanging garden, and I love to one of the loveliest people I know, and we simply embossed in silver. And if I held this up close, you might notice a little bit of texture. This was actually texturized with the new basket weave. And then we've got our sweet little hedgehogs hanging out in the forest, sending hedgehogs your way. And we did them simply in copper, the little bit of copper there. And then this one we kept very clean and simple. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you. Scripture from Isaiah 46:4. And again, this one was also texturized with the basket weave. And so what we're able to do is we're able to utilize the different embossing folders, and these are just a few of the ones that Stampin' Up! Has, to actually leave an impression on our designer papers. A lot of times we think that the papers are beautiful just the way they are, and we don't think to add texture to them. And in this case, it really does just add a whole nother element of fun and a whole nother element of wow to the papers when you do that. And so this is our pretty woodlands. You can see that there. This is one of our 6x6 folders. So you want to be careful when you're working with that because it's the exact width of the Big Shot. This is the new Ultra Thick Dynamic folder, and I don't know if I've got something I can stick in it to maybe give you a little bit of contrast so that you can see that. This is a basket weave, and this is available as a bundle with the Blossoming Basket, and you can select that with a $100 purchase during celebration. Another one that we worked with were these fun dots, and I'll show you some close-ups in just a second. This is the one that we used with the mermaid over top of the stripes. Made it look like seaweed there under the ocean. Our new stripes, this is in the spring catalog, and it's easy to miss, but I love the stripes. And then this is our plank. So it's got a pretty wood plank look to it. So let's take a look again up close for just a second. So what I have here, I don't know if I'll tip it a little bit if you can see. This one has been embossed with the woodland folder. I'm going to grab the crumb cake ink, and let me grab myself a dauber here. Let's see if this is going to be, yep. And all I'm going to do now with the dauber is I'm going to just kind of come in, and I'm just going to add some color in between. Am I being exact and staying totally off the flowers? No. With the dauber, it's a little bit hard to do, but I'm just kind of adding some color and making that texture pop with a little bit of that ink. I could come back in if I wanted to, and I could color the flowers and have them really, really stand out against this. And a great way to color on this foil is with our Stampin' Blends because they're alcohol markers and they will dry. The foil has a little bit of a glossy finish to it, and so you're either going to want to heat set what you put on it, but there you can see, and let me pull it up now, you might be able to see the contrast just a little bit more. But I like that tan against the white, so that's an option for you, is to do something like that. In a previous video with the foils, one of the things that I showed you that was really fun to do was to take a spritzer filled with alcohol, and let's see, let's use green this time, and we'll have some little bit of green, and I can go ahead and spritz that on, and that's going to go ahead and start to also make that design pop a little bit by spritzing that color on. And of course, if I really wanted it to look like seaweed under the water, right, I could add a little bit more blue depending on, you know, what ocean we have and where we're at. But again, we can start to make that pop like that, adding that little bit of texture. Another one that I have here. This is one that was done with the Woodland folder. And again, I'm just going to grab the crumb cake for now to start with. And I'm going to just brush across the top of the trees that are part of that folder to make them pop. This is one that I think would be a whole lot of fun at Halloween. You've got the kind of little copper dots there. Or it could also be a really pretty Christmas card because it just looks like snow falling as well, too. Although I'm not quite thinking spring, which is why I grabbed the hedgehog. I mean, spring. I'm not quite thinking winter or Halloween at this point. I am thinking spring. I'm ready for spring. I think we've had our last snowfall. And I can, of course, come in and I can work my edges. I can darken that up with a little bit more, and that's what we did here. You can see where we added a little bit more with the early espresso, not just the crumb cake, to really darken that up just a little bit. So again, working with your colors like that. Another option that you have to go ahead and try to bring that texture out just a little bit is you have a sponge roller, and I can just go ahead and sponge that on. And what's nice is the foil resists this. I might need to re-ink. I'm working with Pear Pizzazz, so it's a very, very faint green. So I may need to be re-inking that pad. It's kind of hard to see there that it's making it pop. Sorry about that. I thought I had Old Olive grabbed when I looked at it. But again, you're going to be able to sponge over top of it. So you want to grab your beautiful designer papers, and you're going to want to go ahead and texturize them with the embossing folders. One more here for you. I don't know if you can see the dots. Can you see the raised extra dots in between? And it's one of those ones that when you see the card, you're like, ooh, there's something else happening here. And in person, you can really start to see the dots. But I could, if I really wanted to, come in and I could pick a color. And you know what? Just to see if we can make it pop here, because this is the only color I have in front of me at the moment. Let's see if this is going to work on these little circles. So you can kind of start to add a little bit and make those circles pop a little bit. But again, it's just that little extra texture that you're seeing when you texturize them. So lots of fun for you. And again, just a real quick, this one was the basket weave and embossed just in gold and kept real simple, no embellishments or anything. We just wanted the verse to stand out. Colored with the Stampin' Blends, a little bit of embossing to tie the silver together and the basket weave. And then our sweet little mermaid here. So again, grab your texture folders and have some fun with not just your springtime foils, but any of your designer papers, adding just that little extra touch, that little extra wow to the designer papers. Thanks, guys.